Hello, my creeplings. We're back for the second one of January, and I'm not gonna lie, it is colder than a witch's titty and a brass bra out there. Here in this part of Ohio, I think it's a grand total of 6 degrees. So I'm gonna stay in here where it's warm and watch I'm just gonna say it, this is a cheesy horror comedy. I have watched this before. My husband and I watched this. We rented this from a video store, God knows how many years ago. It's called Jack Frost, and no, it's not the Michael Keaton family feel-good movie. This one was actually filmed beforehand, way beforehand. Was released straight to video in 1997. The Michael Keaton one was released in 98. So imagine some families if they got the wrong video. This is a cheese fest in a good way, and I will explain as I go on. There's not a lot of notable names and everything in here except for Shannon Elizabeth. This was her first role and her first nude scene, pre-Nadia from American Pie, pre-boob job. So let's just get into this lovely little story. We open with a very interesting exposition dump of an uncle telling a little girl a bedtime story. Now, I will admit this little girl's voice grates on your nerves. It's not actually a little girl, it's an adult woman pretending to be a little girl. But I digress. The guy playing the uncle, though, does kind of sound like Malcolm McDowell, which I think is awesome. And he tells the story of the serial killer Jack Frost. And it's a trip. Just listen to it. Listen to it a couple times if you need to. There's a lot to go on there. They're exposition dumping over the opening credits, which are done as ornaments on a Christmas tree. We could have done this one as an Is It Christmas video as well. Jack had been caught after his murder spree in a town called Snowminton. They don't give a state. It's a mountain state, though. Location and weather plays a little bit of a plot point later. Not much, but a little bit. He was caught in a routine traffic stop by the Snowminton sheriff, and he got sloppy and got caught. Well, it's the night that he's getting transferred from the jail to be executed. There is an accident with a genetics research truck that has a chemical that, to make a very long story short, ends up making Jack bond with snow. And Jack becomes a snowman and goes on a killing spree in Snowminton to get back at the sheriff. We've got some pretty interesting kills. We do have a trigger warning for any of you that are out there that this will affect. We do have a rape scene with Jack doing what he felt he needed to do with Shannon Elizabeth's character. Jack goes through killing like a lot of people in town, and they finally figure out the only way to destroy him. They can't melt him because if he melts, he reforms. He can't steam out because steam becomes water. Remember high school science or even elementary school science. Water becomes steam and then turns back into water vapor, which can therefore refreeze into snow. It's very interesting. They kill him with antifreeze, which is just so funny. It melts him and goos him and I mean, that's the basic story, is Killer Snowman goes on killing spree. We've got an axe handle through the head. We've got death by Christmas tree. We've got the snowman rape scene. We've got him throwing icicles at people. It's a trip. I would definitely say watch this if you're really into cheesy movies. It kind of reads like a low budget attempt, or I shouldn't even say low budget because these movies that I'm about to compare them to were low budget at the beginning. This feels like someone trying to channel their inner Sam Raimi in the Evil Dead era, like the early days of, them getting backed by studios. Jack Frost almost feels like it was written for Bruce. There's a scientist character that Ted could have played. So a lot of the townsfolk are, how did I write this on my note? The characters are a bit caricaturish. They all kind of remind me of stereotypes. So you've got like the ridiculously slutty teenage daughter, Shannon Elizabeth's character. You've got the super stressed out toxic masculine dad, and then he's got the doddering, kind of dotty housewife. You've got the dumb, sweet young kid who's the sheriff's son. They're utilized just enough to make you laugh. And you're kind of like, you're not sad when they die. I know that sounds really bad, but this is a horror comedy. The quippiness is very much Raimi-esque. Maybe not quite as good, but definitely, like they were trying. I don't know if they were, but these are the feelings I got off of it. Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of Raimi films in preparation to possibly meet all three of the Raimi boys. I don't know. But like the camera angles, there's some shaky cam, there's some oddball angles, there's what I call killer vision, where it's all frosted over on the side like you're looking through Jack's eyes. He's a snowman, he's got coal eyes. There's some shots through some puddles, all very kind of Raimi-esque to me. It's like someone tried to channel their inner Sam Raimi and Renaissance Pictures Productions guys and didn't quite get there. There wasn't enough Three Stooges-esque slapstick. The quips weren't quite as good, but enough that it was sitting in the back of my head thinking maybe, Sam could have done better with this. The set is a little cheesy, but that wasn't exactly their fault. They did go to film this during the winter, but there was it was too warm and they didn't get any precipitation, so no snow. All the snow you see is either made from like snow cone machines, or it's that coconut flaky looking stuff, or it's cotton batting. You got to do what you got to do to make something look like winter, and I understand that. I think they were, kind of banking on some kind of snowfall to sit over all this to make it look better, but it didn't work. But yeah, I would easily say if you like horror comedies, if you are definitely a straight-to-video type person, I got this off of Amazon Prime currently, but I want to say possibly Tubi has it as well for free. You're having a night where you just want to watch something stupid, and I'm not even going to say scary, but stupid with some decent effects. Jack Frost is what you want. There's really not that much to say other than this was a wild, silly fucking ride. The effects were pretty good. We have some gooiness. It could have been a little gorier. I know that they filmed this and they had to shelve it for like 3 years before the distributor picked it up. So, I don't know why they didn't tinker with it, but they did. They didn't. So, they did a good job. Let's see. Of course, there's some quips like Christmas came early this year. There was a point where Jack got rearranged and he's like, "Look, Ma, I'm a Picasso." Some of the effects are a little cheesy. There was a kid who got killed by a sleigh, like a sledding sleigh. His head flies off, and you could tell it was a dummy head. The woman who gets death by Christmas tree, you can tell they were using a dummy for some of it. But again, if you like this cheesy kind of stuff, I highly recommend it. They use a lot of the music from the Nutcracker Suite in the back, and it's some of it is done very heavy metal-esque, so it reminds me of Trans-Siberian Orchestra, which was a treat for me. You know how much I talk about music and movies and everything, and to me that just kind of amped up the ridiculousness of it. But yeah, if you like horror comedies and you like Shannon Elizabeth naked, and you want something that, if you're a fan of excuse me, something along the lines of a Sam Raimi Evil Dead, I would give this one a watch. It's not like super high stars, but I've watched this thing 3 times, a total of 3 times in my life. I ended up watching it twice for this because the first time I had to stop and start. I really wanted to make sure I watched it all the way through for you guys. And I kept looking at the lady who played the receptionist thinking, God, she reminds me of Adrienne Barbeau, another icon of the horror genre. She's actually the grown woman who did the voice of the little girl in the beginning. I looked her up. Her name is, I believe, Marsha Cross. So we'll double check. Marsha Clark, excuse me. She does a lot of voiceover work. A lot of video games, a lot of cartoons, and then a lot of TV stuff. But I kept looking at her going, she looks like Adrienne Barbeau. They made a sequel to this, which I have not seen yet. I don't know that I want to see. Sometimes, excuse me, I still have a touch of that crap that keeps going around. What was I talking about? Sequel. Sometimes these movies don't need a sequel, and I think this is one of them. I mean, maybe I'll watch it eventually just because my interest has been kind of peaked. But by the same token, this was cheesy enough. This was like, remember how I said Waxwork and Waxwork 2 were, you go into it knowing they're both cheese, it's better. Go into this one knowing that it is a, what kind of cheese? It's a nice Monterey Jack. It's not offensive, but not everybody you know what I'm talking about. So on that note, this was a short one. Sorry, guys. There was not a lot of information on this one, so I can't go into, I didn't even get a good list I didn't notice any of the names from the effects crew that I could follow along and give you, tidbits about that. So I would watch this one once. I would torture my friends by making them watch it once. And I had a good time watching it. That's all I can really say about it. So on that note, I'm going to say good night, my creeplings, and I'll see you next time. Bye.